I'm Katie with Katie Brings a Book, and it's time for my September TBR. I cannot believe I'm saying this. Okay, I'm good. August has not been the best reading month, but I anticipate that as a teacher. Back to school is intense, and this year I feel like it just kicked it up a notch. And I have two kids in two different sports. I'm about to add a third kid and a third sport, and all of their games start. Well, two of the kids' games start. So reading for August was not up to my average. And that was even with an 8-hour readathon that I threw in there. I might do another readathon at the end of September. I haven't decided yet, just so I can knock out some books. But that's okay. Reading is a hobby, and hobbies don't rule our lives. Reading is for fun. And so when I take the fun out of it and it becomes a chore, then I've got to take a break. But as a teacher, this has been really intense. Mentally, it's really intense. And so it was okay. But I'm hoping for a good September, and I'm doing something a little different. So August was all about the mood reading. September is totally different. I'm not doing TBR cards because I'm going to participate in the Pastel Bookshelf's readathon list, and she's doing Witchoween. I'm not doing it as a witchcraft version. I'm doing I'm doing her bingo card, which I'm going to put up on the screen so that you can see it, because she's got some really neat prompts. And I really love talking about witches in the historical aspect as a history teacher, because historically it was the women that spoke their mind, weren't understood, were different than everybody, were willing to be different, or were just not fitting in the norm. And so, or had done something to somebody. It just, I just really, they didn't burn witches, they burned women. And so I'm really excited about this. I really enjoyed the prompts she has. And I love that she doesn't just do book prompts, she does activity prompts. And so I didn't do her September or her August one, but I am so excited for her September one. So I did that. The other thing is I have some other prompts I'm personally pulling in. So instead of doing TBR cards, I'm doing my own prompts. I talked about in my Goodreads challenge why I love Goodreads. However, I want to talk about why I love Storygraph. You can make your own challenges. And so I've done this before, but for September, I don't know if you can see on my tablet, I made my own September challenge to keep track of what books I want to read and the prompts I want to read. So you can add your own books in here. It's like Goodreads challenges, but for yourself. So I put the prompts from the Witchoween plus the other things I want to do to keep track of where I'm at in my challenges and which books I want to read. So I'm going to go through the books I want to read. And for some of the challenges, I have options to kind of still let me mood read with these options. And I'm really excited about how I'm doing it this month. Will the TBR cards come back? For sure. Just not this month. And that's okay. Because again, reading is my hobby and I do it my way. So let's go through what I have. So the first ones I'm going to go through are my Witchoween. And I would love to hear if some of you want to do this with me. I'm going to post the link to her video talking about it down below. She's going to do a different one every month. I will not always do it, but this one just really spoke to me. And the activities I'm going to film as well. And I'm going to make a video about doing all these different things at the end of the month. So I'm going to go through the prompts and what I'm going to do. Will I switch some up midway through the year or a month? Probably. So the first one is a new to me author. I have multiple options for this. And I still have time for probably one more book in August. And so I might I'm going to try to do another library book. So this may change, but I'm probably going to do I Medusa by Ayana Gray, because I've been really wanting to read this book. And it just, well, maybe not a witchy book. It just gives me that feel of the overlooked, misunderstood woman. And I think it's a great way to start. I'm probably going to start September with this book, if not finish August with this book. So if I do finish this in August, I'll pick a different one. But this is going to be my new to me author that I'm really excited about. Okay, so the next one is an autumn setting. And this is the one I really struggled with because I don't do seasonal books. That's not my thing. But I really want to read the sequel that's about to come out. So this is a reread for me. But it's been 4 or 5 years since I've read this book, and I totally don't remember it. And the sequel just came out. So it's The Chestnut Man. Now, by Soren Sveistrup. It's in Copenhagen. Fun fact, for those of you from the north and other countries, we don't have chestnuts in Florida. I have never held a chestnut. I don't think I don't know if I've ever even seen one in person. So I've definitely never seen them make a man. So when I read this book the first time, I had to like look up what's a chestnut man. It's a like a bucket list thing for me to actually see a chestnut in person and even taste a chestnut. Those chestnuts over an open fire in the song, like that's just amazing to me that you can do that. But never seen a chestnut in Florida. It's not a thing. We don't have them. But loved this. I gave it 5 stars the first time, so I'm looking forward to rereading it with that fall feel. Fall doesn't come to Florida in September. It's basically still summer for us. Like we'll definitely have days for weeks that are over 100. It's going to be hot. We don't really get fall until the end of October. So it's not autumn to me yet. So I'm still like in summer book mode, but autumn setting. Okay. The next one is a free Witchoween pick. It's like the middle square. I have 2 options. Now, if I read I, Medusa for August, I don't know. One of these might still come in August. But the first one is Liberty Street. I have had it in September. I haven't read it, but I do really want to read it. It sounds really exciting. It is a 1961-1996 dual timeline. It's based on a true story. And it's based off of 1960s women's prison, and the detective who uncovers a journalist goes into a women's prison in 1960. And then the woman has a hard time getting back out of the prison. And then this detective discovers her story. If I don't do I'm Medusa in August and I still have time, this will be the one I do in August. So I'm kind of going back and forth on which one I want to finish August with. So we'll see. But I'm not sure which one I want to do, and I really want to read this book. If I read Liberty Street or I'm in the mood, I got a book in that I have been waiting on, and it's a sequel. This will be my Witchoween pick. The Secrets We Hide! Okay. I read the first, this is the second in the North Fall series by Karen Slaughter. Love me a Karen Slaughter book. Love Karen Slaughter. Loved We Are All Guilty Here. Cannot wait to read this. So this is like, I want to read this in September. I cannot wait. Somehow this will get read. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know what category it's going in, but it's got to get read. Okay. There's multiple categories it fits in. I just don't know quite where it's going. That's what I'm going to say on the matter. I don't even care what it's about. I just know I'm going to read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those, like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen in my life. It's got to happen. So the next book is the actual, like, witchy book. So one of the activities is to watch a witchy movie. And I don't know which one I'm watching. We'll see. That'll be a game time decision. But I've talked about this book so many times, and I'm determined I'm going to read it for Witchoween. It's the physics book of Deliverance Dane. It's a little bit of an older book, and I have the sequel, so I'm going to read it this month. I'm going to read it in September. I say this month, it's still August. I'm going to read it in September. It was published in 2009, so I want to read it. I want to read the series. It's a Salem witch trials kind of book. It skips between 1687 and 1991. A woman's found that she's, tied to Salem. Just want to point out, as a history teacher, witch trials were not just Salem. They're just the most popular. Just in case anyone's wondering. Witch trials originated in Europe. And they were all over New England. We just happened to talk mostly about Salem. I really enjoy a misunderstood witch trials book. You know, there's always, some of them have magic. Some of them are about more about the witch trials. If anyone wants any suggestions, I would love, maybe one day, maybe when we get, maybe October, I don't know, I'll do a witch trials book, maybe later in September. I'll do like a witch trials book video. I don't know, but I'm going to read this book. Maybe after I read this book, I'll do it. That's going to be my witchy book. Okay. The next one in the Witchoween is a celestial cover. It's just got to have like stars or moons or something. And so I'm doing the Wilder Women, and I don't know if you can see, but there are just stars all over it. This was a Book of the Month book, and I never heard of it other than Book of the Month. But it's about these sisters, and they all have, there's 2 sisters, and they have these, like, I don't want to say powers, abilities might be more like it. One can, like, they call it echo of memories that people have. It sounds kind of magical realism, but it's intriguing to me. And the other one, let's see. I couldn't understand exactly what her ability is from this summary. But they have to find their mom, and they're estranged. And it's got a really good review, and it sounded really interesting. And I found it at a used bookstore, and I've been looking at it at Book of the Month. And it's got a celestial cover, and it's been like on my shelf, and I've kind of eyed it and been like, I don't know, it's a little weird. But I think it's gonna be a really good, like, different style of read from what I usually do. And sometimes when I'm kind of going through stuff, or like I'm stuck in a rut, or I don't know. Sometimes I just need something totally weird and different. And I think this is going to be it for me in September. I think I need this, you know? So I'm going to do it. And it's got the stars on it. And I just think it's so totally different. I think it's going to be good for me. The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang. You know, I haven't been reading the first sentence. I'm not going to read the first sentence. There's too many to get through today. We'll do that another time. Okay, then we get into my book club picks. And my, like, big book club that I've been in for over a year, they haven't picked their September book club yet. So I don't know what that's going to be. We'll see. But my thriller book club has been picked for the month. And I picked this with a friend. This is the book club I just started. So we've only had 2 meetings. We read Love, Mom last month, and I rated it 4 stars. The club rated it 3.5. It was good. It wasn't great. Would I suggest it? Yes. It's kind of pretty basic writing, but the plot twists were really plot twisty. But this next one, we're doing How to Survive in the Woods by Kat Rosenfield. It is not what I would normally pick up, but I am looking forward to reading it. It sounds interesting. It's a survivalist, and she teams up with her husband's ex-girlfriend, and they're going to take back her life from her husband, but things are happening in the woods that she did not prepare for. It sounds really interesting. It's supposed to be pretty good. I'll let you know. How to Survive in the Woods. Anybody read it? I would love to hear from you. Okay, so for my Read Your Bookshelf challenge, which I'm doing from Chantal Reads All Day, that I've been doing for this whole year. And I did her summer reading challenge, and I'm doing her year challenge. The month of September is an animal prompt. Oh, wait, I missed one. I'll come back to it. We're doing animal prompt. And so I'm taking that a little bit interestingly. And I'm doing the Unicorn Hunter. There is a unicorn on it. So we're doing a mystical animal. And this is a newer book by Catherine Arden. It is historical fiction fantasy. I love a good genre bender. And this is a new book, and it came in at the library, so I'm going to have to read it early in the month because I do have to get it back. But it is about Anna Brittany when France is invaded, and her father is killed, and she has to be married to the King of France. And she refuses to go to Brittany, and she has to get sealed in marriage to be betrothed to France's greatest rival. I'm really excited. I think I'm really excited about this book. This is going to be an early September read for me. And I mean, like, unicorns, my daughter's favorite. So it'd be interesting. I'm not a super fantasy mixed with my historical fiction, but it sounded really neat. It sounds different. Okay, so in my thriller book club, we do something a little different. We pick a prompt from my thriller book club TBR cards. And if you want to, for fun, you can read a second book sometime that month, and that meets that prompt. And then everybody can put in a drawing to win a book, or whatever we have in the drawing that month. I don't put my name in because I lead it, but I still do the options. And the TBR card we drew this month was, I have it here, Weapons on the Cover. You can be very creative with this. And so I have 2 books that I'm going to choose from. One is very literal, Weapon on the Cover, and one is a little more creative, and I don't know which I'm going to choose, so I'm going to have both options. This one is theme music, and it is a book, and I started it a few months ago, and I wasn't in the mood. It's a slasher, but I'm more in the mood now. And basically, this girl was a baby, and her father killed her whole family in his house. And she went to go live with her aunt and uncle. And her house that whole family was killed in comes up for sale, and she buys it because she wants to understand what happened. And there's this theory that maybe her father didn't actually kill her family and something else is going on. But when she moves into the house, she starts to question her sanity. Right? Like very typical slasher thriller kind of book. But then I have one that's a little more creative of a weapon. And I told everybody in club, get creative with this. And it's the librarian. Words. The librarian of burned books. Now, I'm very, very strong feelings about burned books and how the feeling of books and burning books can be used as a weapon. And so this has been on my TBR list for a very long time. And I feel like that we could talk about burning books as a weapon. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to pick. Maybe both. We'll see what time I have. I don't know. I would love your comments down below. Can this be an option for weapon on a cover of the librarian of burned books? Let me know. Okay, so the next prompt is this is still Witchoween. I just put it in the wrong order. Is a purple cover. And this is like actually the first one. And I have two options, and I'm going to choose like a mood for these two options, and because they're both really good moody options. And so I'm going to let this mood option. The first is The Last Housewife. This is a true crime podcaster, culty thriller. It's a reread for me. I rated it very highly when I read it before. I love Ashley Winstead. Solid choice. I'm totally good with this option. It's got purple in the hands. Would love this to be a great option. The other option is one, I don't know why I've put off reading this. I just have, and it's one I've had for a while. I would love this to be an option. And I feel like the moving into autumn, it's a good option. It's Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. It's like, I don't remember what this, it's like creepy. I don't want to say dark romance when you think of dark romance, but it's creepy, and it's all things, I don't remember what the series is called, but it's a duology. And it would be very creepy, kind of that moving into fall Halloween season creepy romance level. I'm going to let my mood pick. I don't do a lot of romance, but every once in a while I'm in the mood for a creepy, darkish romance feelings, fantasy. And that's what this is. But I do love a true crime podcast. I always love a true crime podcast, cult thriller. So we'll see how I feel during the month. It's going to be later in the month. I have so many other things to read at the beginning of the month. So I'm going to see how I feel later in the month. My last pick is I want to read a nonfiction. I didn't do a lot of nonfiction in the summer. I was just reading for fun. And now that I'm back in school, I really need to be upping my nonfiction reads for school. My book that I want to read this month is 1968 by Michael Kaufman. 1968 was such a pivotal year in American history, and these are different essays by different authors. I believe this is different essays. It's all different moments in 1968. Maybe this one's not the essays. He wrote a different one that was essays, but all different moments in 1968 in America, complete with all kinds of photography. Just, amazing photography of things that happened. So we have things like at Columbia University. Oh, sorry, it's world history. I was wrong. We have Prague. So I'm going to be reading this book, and it's not a big book, but it's a very influential book. I read 1789, which was his duel, and that was essays. So I'm excited about that. So this is my TBR for September. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of it? Have you read some of these books? From the ones I'm choosing, what do you think? Which ones should I read? I would love to hear. Would some of you like to join me for Witchoween with the Pastel Bookshelf? I will link her down below. And I would love to have some of you join me along this journey. I am going to be posting a video at the end of the month of me doing it. The activities sound really fun. Like make a brew that you're like, so I'm going to make probably a coffee drink. I might buy it. I'm not going to lie. I do love me some like brewed fun coffee. Or make a potion, I think it is. Watch a witchy movie. No idea what that's going to be. I don't know. We'll figure that out. What are some other things? I will probably make a video about some witchy books that I recommend because there's some really good ones out there, and we'll go from there. But I would love for some of you to join me on this Witchoween journey that I'm going to be on this month. How does your September look? Are you going to looking at an intense September like I am? Maybe your kids are in sports too. What do you think this month's going to look like? I cannot believe we're in September. Anyway, I'm Katie. Please like and subscribe down below. If you like books, historical fiction, thrillers, and maybe some fantasy this month. I've actually got quite a bit of fantasy this month. And remember, always bring a book.